The cold woke her first. Then the silence. Then the whispers. Dr. Alara Quinn opened her eyes slowly. The light above her was harsh and white. It flickered like a dying star. Her back ached, her hands were numb, and her mouth was dry like sand. She tried to move, but her body felt heavy like it had been sleeping for years. Her heart started to race. Where am I? The ceiling wasn't normal. It pulsed slightly, like skin over bone. And the air smelled strange, metallic and clean, but too clean, sterile. Her fingers found the edge of the slab she was lying on. It was smooth, colder than ice, and not made of any material she recognized. She blinked again, and that's when she saw the shadows. Figures. Dozens of them. Eyes stared down at her from every angle. Big, black, shining eyes. Some narrow, some round. Their skin was in shades of blue, gray, and green. No two looked exactly the same. She wasn't dreaming. She wasn't on Earth, and she wasn't alone. One of the creatures stepped closer. Its body was tall and thin, with long arms and 3 fingers. It wore something like a robe, glowing faintly along the seams. It looked down at her, head tilting. Then it spoke. "You are awake." Alara tried to speak, but only a cough came out. The alien held out a small device. "Breathe," it said. She took in the soft mist from the tool. Air rushed into her lungs more freely now. She sat up slowly, every muscle shaking. "Who are you?" she asked, voice raw. "We should ask you the same," the alien replied. Another voice spoke from behind her. "She is human. From the world called Earth. Impossible. Earth is forbidden. Closed after the signal." Alara turned her head fast. The signal? What were they talking about? She struggled to her feet. The aliens didn't stop her. They simply stepped back, watching her closely, too closely. Like scientists watching a wild animal. Or a bomb. "Where am I?" she asked again. "You are on the medical vessel Varaxi. We found you inside a sealed pod, drifting beyond the Jexos belt. Your life signs were low. But you were still alive." She frowned. "I don't remember that. I was ... I was in a trauma center. On Earth, helping the wounded after the Southern Uprising. Then ... nothing. You were taken. But not by us," the robed alien said. "We only found you." He paused. "You were already ... changed." Alara looked down at her hands. They looked normal. Pale, thin, human. She felt her face. No scars, no strange textures. But something felt wrong. Her skin tingled. Her chest was too still, her heartbeat too slow. "What do you mean, changed?" Instead of answering, the aliens moved aside. Behind them was a wounded alien lying on a table. His chest was ripped open by some kind of blast. He was breathing fast, his blue blood leaking from his side. "He will die in minutes," the robed one said. "We cannot save him, but you must try." Alara stepped back. "I'm not a surgeon anymore. I haven't worked in emergency care in years. I need equipment, tools, assistance. Use your hands." "What? Just touch him. Try." "No. Please," the injured alien gasped. "Please, help." Something inside her broke at the sound of his voice. It reminded her of the soldiers she used to treat. Young, scared, bleeding. She moved forward, against her fear. Alara placed her hands on the alien's chest, and the world changed. A pulse shot through her arms. Her vision dimmed. The room grew quiet. She felt the alien's heartbeat in her own body. She could see the torn veins, the broken bones, the pain. Her hands began to glow faintly. Warm, golden. Gasps echoed in the room. The wound began to close. Bones shifted into place. Muscles stitched together. Skin reformed without a scar. The alien opened his eyes wide and breathed deep. He was healed. Alara stumbled back in shock. "What did I just do?" The robed alien answered with fear in his voice. "You used the gift." The one only you carry. She shook her head. No, that's not possible. I've never had that ability. I'm just a doctor. You are more than a doctor, said a new voice from the shadows. Ilara turned sharply. A small alien stepped forward, different from the others. His body was covered in strange armor, pieces of machines fused into his skin. One glowing eye, one dead. He carried a device that looked like a datapad. He held it up that the screen showed a recording. Grainy, old. In it, a woman stood in a battlefield of fire and smoke. Her eyes burned with golden light. Around her, bodies lay. Still some alien, some human. She raised one hand, and a blast of white energy shot forward, destroying a warship in the sky. Then she turned to the camera. It was Ilara, or someone who looked just like her. What is this? She whispered. The armored alien spoke. You do not remember this, but you did it. Or someone made you do it. Another alien whispered. She is the one from the prophecy. The healer and the ender. No, Ilara said, backing away. This isn't real. That's not me. I never killed anyone. I never destroyed anything. Then explain this, the robed alien said, holding up a vial filled with strange black liquid. We found this in your blood. Not human. Not natural. It adapts, it heals, but when pushed, it burns, destroys. Ilara collapsed to her knees. She wanted to scream, to cry, to run. But where could she go? Her past was gone. Her future was unknown. And she was surrounded by creatures who now looked at her with a mix of awe and fear. Take me back, she begged. Take me back to Earth. The armored one laughed coldly. Earth is closed, sealed by your kind. After the signal, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. What signal? They hesitated. Then the robed alien whispered, the day you were born. Later that cycle. Ilara sat alone in a room made of soft metal and humming walls. She couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Her hands still glowed faintly when she focused. She didn't know how to stop it. The aliens had given her a translator implant and simple food. But no answers. No truth. She stared at the image on the screen. Again, the version of herself killing hundreds with a single gesture. It didn't feel real, but it was her face. And now, she could feel something inside her chest. A weight, a presence. As if something alive lived in her blood. Her reflection. In the shiny wall blurred slightly. For a second, her eyes glowed gold again, and a quiet voice whispered in her mind. You were made to save them. Or end them. She jumped back from the wall, heart pounding. The door behind her slid open with a soft hiss. The robed alien entered. He carried a small child in his arms. The child was alien, but young. Its skin was silver, and it had wounds all over its arms and face. Another one, he said quietly. No, Ilara said, stepping back. I can't keep doing this. I don't even know what I'm doing. You are doing what you were built to do. I wasn't built. The alien gently laid the child on the table. Then prove it, he said. Ilara looked down at the child. It was breathing fast, crying. Its tiny hand reached out, shaking, slowly. Ilara reached back. Her fingers touched the child's arm. The glow returned. The pain faded, and again. She healed, ending hook. As the robed alien stepped out of the room, he spoke into a communicator. She's awakened. Phase 1 is complete. Prepare the chamber. Behind a locked door deep within the ship, something stirred. Something with her face and glowing, burning eyes. Ilara stood in front of the mirror-like wall in her room. Her hands rested against the surface. Her eyes, once dull and tired, now glowed faintly gold in the dim light. No matter how much she washed her hands, the soft glow returned whenever. She touched another being. She had healed 3 aliens so far. Each time, the feeling grew stronger. She could see their pain, feel it. She didn't just fix their bodies, that she understood them. As if their pain became hers. But every time she healed, something inside her whispered, something cold and dangerous. More, you can do more. Ilara shook her head and stepped back. She wasn't a god. She wasn't a weapon. She was just a doctor. At least she used to be. The door slid open. The same robed alien named Sale entered. You're needed again, he said. No, Ilara replied. Not until I get answers. Sale tilted his head. You demand truth, yet you hide from yourself. I'm not hiding, she said. I'm trying to remember who I really am. Then ask the right questions, he said, stepping aside. Behind him stood the small armored alien from earlier. Vekar. He held a data tablet, his one glowing eye locked on Ilara. You want the truth? Vekar asked. Ilara nodded. Follow me. They led her through a long hallway, the floor humming beneath their feet. The walls were smooth and glowing faintly blue. Strange symbols moved like water across the metal, always shifting, never stopping. Ilara saw injured aliens watching her as she passed. Some whispered. Others bowed their heads. A few looked away, afraid. She didn't feel like a hero. She felt like a ghost. They stopped at a door near the far end of the ship. This is the archive room, Sale said. Vekar placed his hand on the wall, and it opened with a slow hiss. Inside was a chamber full of old machines, broken screens, and metal crates marked with warning symbols. The air smelled like dust and electricity. Ilara stepped inside carefully. This doesn't look like alien tech, she said. It's not, Vekar replied. It's human. She froze. What? This was recovered from a secret lab, Sale added. A place your kind left behind after the signal. The same signal that lit up half the galaxy and pointed to Earth. Ilara's chest tightened. She approached one of the crates. It was labeled, Project, Seraphim Subject ID, EQ017. Her hands shook as she touched it. EQ, she whispered. That's me. There were others, Vekar said. 17, to be exact. You were the last. What happened to the others? They died, failed, or worse, turned into something uncontrollable. Ilara stared at the crate, her throat dry. So I'm a clone? No, Sale replied. You are something between. A memory turned real, a mind restructured, a body reprogrammed. Your DNA is yours, but reshaped. You were designed, Vekar added. Built for one purpose, to heal or destroy, depending on the command. I never agreed to this, she said, voice cracking. Sale lowered his head. We know. Vekar activated a screen. Footage played. A young Ilara stood inside a glass chamber, surrounded by men in white suits and masks. She was screaming. Wires ran into her arms. Machines scanned her brain. Please. The Ilara in the video cried. I didn't sign up for this. The scientists ignored her. We need her active before the war reaches Earth. One said. She's not stable, another warned. The serum, she's rejecting it. She survive, the first man said. She has to. The screen went black. Ilara turned away, her stomach turning. I was just a test subject. No, Sale said firmly. You were the subject. The one they thought would fix everything. They wanted you to stop the war, to heal soldiers fast. But then they realized your power could do more. Ilara closed her eyes. They wanted me to be a weapon. Yes, Vekar said. And I became one? See for yourself. He handed her another device. It displayed a battlefield. A desert. Alien ships flying overhead. Chaos. Screams. Then dash her. Golden eyes. Glowing hands. And a single step forward. She raised both arms and everything around her exploded. Not fire. Not bullets. Pure force. She walked through the storm, untouched. Bodies dropped. Machines melted. Ships fell from the sky. Then she knelt beside a dying child and healed him with a single touch. Ilara dropped the device, shaking. I don't remember this. I don't remember any of it. Because they wiped your mind after every mission, Sale said softly. Each time they erased your pain, your guilt, but memories always return. Hours passed. Ilara sat in a small observation room. Staring at her hands, she thought about the things she had done, both healing and killing. She didn't feel powerful. She felt broken. Viker entered quietly. He didn't say anything for a while. Then he sat beside her. You know, he said, not all of us hate you. She looked at him. You saved my brother yesterday. He was dying. You brought him back. No weapon has ever done that. I'm not a weapon, she said softly. I believe you, he replied. But others won't, especially if they find out you're alive. Who's looking for me? Viker hesitated. Your creators. The people who made you. The humans behind Project Seraphim. They think you're dead, but if they learn the truth, they'll come to reclaim you or destroy you. Ilara clenched her fists. Then I'll be ready. That night, a loud alarm shook the ship. Red lights flashed across the halls. Warning, hostile presence detected near Sector 7. Ilara jumped to her feet and ran toward the control room. The halls were full of movement aliens rushing to defense points, preparing weapons, shielding injured. Sale met her at the control deck. What's happening? She asked. Enemy vessel approaching. Fast. No signals. No identification. Could it be from Earth? Unknown. They watched the screen. A large dark ship emerged from the shadows of an asteroid field. It was shaped like a claw, black as space, and completely silent. No heat. No energy trail, Viker said. It's just there. The enemy ship fired no weapons, but their own systems began to fail, lights dimming, shields dropping. It's draining us, Sale said. Leeching our power. Ilara stepped forward. Open a comms channel. What? Viker said. We don't even know what it is. Open it, she said firmly. Sale obeyed. The screen lit up. A face appeared. But it wasn't alien. It was human. An older man, gray hair, sharp eyes, scars down one cheek. Ilara Quinn, he said. You survived. Her blood went cold. Who are you? Dr. Kesser, lead developer of Project Seraphim. You were my greatest creation. She felt sick. You did this to me. You made me into this. We gave you purpose, Kesser said calmly. You were dying when we found you. We saved you, improved you, and now we need you back. Never. You don't have a choice, he said, his voice suddenly colder. You have something inside you. A seed. If you run, we activate it. And you will destroy everything around you. Ilara took a step back. You're lying. Try me, he said. Then the screen went black. The enemy ship vanished into warp space. But the message was clear. They knew she was alive, and they could control her anytime they wanted. After the encounter, Ilara sat alone in the dark. Her chest hurt not from injury, but from fear. Was she really free, or just another weapon on a leash? She remembered something from the footage, something small. In the battlefield video, her hand touched a child's chest, and for a moment, her expression changed. Sadness, regret. That was real. That was her. She wasn't just power. She had choice. She whispered to herself, I am not their weapon. Behind her, Sale entered. They will come again, he said. I know. You should hide. No, she said, standing tall. I'm done hiding. Then what will you do? Ilara looked down at her glowing hands. I'll find out who I really am. Deep inside the dark human ship, Dr. Kesser spoke to a hidden figure sealed behind thick glass. She's awake, but unstable. If she remembers too much too fast, she could break the seal. The figure inside the glass looked exactly like Ilara, but her eyes were already open and glowing red. The air inside the ship was tense. No one spoke loudly. No one smiled. The crew of the alien vessel Varaxi moved through the hallways with quiet urgency. They had seen the face of the enemy, and now they feared what was coming. Alara Quinn sat alone in the ship's medical bay. Her hands rested on her knees. They were glowing again. Not bright, just faint like the last light before a storm. She wasn't sure if it was fear or power or both. She heard footsteps. Familiar ones. Sael entered the room, holding a datapad. "You should eat," he said gently. "You haven't touched your food." "I'm not hungry," Ilara replied. "You need strength." "I have strength, too much of it maybe." Sael paused. Then he sat across from her. "They will come again," he said. "Your creators. I know. And when they do, what will you do?" Alara looked at her hands. "I don't know. I want to run, but something inside me wants to fight. I don't trust it." "It is not your enemy," Sael said. "It is a part of you." "That's what I'm afraid of." Suddenly, alarms echoed through the ship. "Hostiles detected. 2 jumps out." Ilara and Sael ran toward the command deck. Vaker was already there, staring at the display. 3 large ships approached from deep space. Black, sharp-edged vessels. With no flags, no names, no signals. Just silent death. "They're not broadcasting anything," Vaker said. "Stealth tech, no response to hails. Earth forces?" Sael asked. "Too clean," Vaker replied. "Could be mercenaries, or worse." Ilara stepped closer. "Can we run?" Vaker shook his head. "Warp drives are still recharging." "Then we fight," she said. Vaker raised an eyebrow. "With what?" Ilara turned toward the medbay doors behind her. "With me." As the ships closed in, the Varaxi shuddered from the first blast. Sparked and flickered. A second hit made the walls groan. Crew members scrambled to damage control. Sael ordered medical teams to the lower decks. Ilara stood in the center of the ship's reactor room. Around her, glowing wires and humming generators pulsed with energy. She reached out, unsure what to do until instinct took over. Her hand touched the core. The reactor responded. Energy poured into her like a river. Her skin shimmered. Her eyes burned bright gold. She screamed, but not in pain. In memory, she remembered standing on another ship, a human warship. She was surrounded by injured soldiers. She had done something similar, then touched the power source, pulled energy into herself, and used it. But that time, she hadn't stopped. She had burned the entire enemy fleet. Was that what she had become? Above them, the attackers moved in. They launched boarding pods. Sharp black cylinders smashed into the ship's hull. The pods opened, and armored soldiers spilled out, armed with rifles and shock blades. Ilara met them at the central corridor. The first soldier raised his weapon. Ilara didn't move. The shot came fast, but the bullet melted in the air before reaching her. She raised one hand. The entire hallway exploded in light. 10 soldiers fell alive but unconscious. Their weapons melted into ash. Ira gasped. Stepping back, she hadn't meant to do that. She had only thought about it. And it had happened. In the upper hangar, Vaker fought alongside other crew members. They had little more than plasma cutters and short-range blasters. Suddenly the wall shook and Ilara appeared. Her hands glowed. Her footsteps left burning marks on the floor. Without a word, she stepped into the battle. She didn't need weapons. She was one. She reached out toward a collapsing section of the ceiling, and it stopped mid-air. She turned to a wounded crew member and touched his chest. The wound closed in seconds. Then she faced a group of incoming soldiers and whispered a single word: "Sleep." They collapsed instantly. Everyone around her stared in silence, some in awe, some in fear. Vaker stepped forward, his voice shaky. "Are you okay?" "No," Ilara said quietly. I don't think I've ever been okay. After the attack ended, the ship was quiet again, but no one could forget what they saw. Not even Alara. She sat alone in her room, staring at the wall. Her reflection looked wrong, not because of her glowing eyes or the energy around her, but because it felt like someone else. She remembered flashes of battle memories, not her own. Burning cities, crying children. Her own voice shouting orders she didn't believe in. Ilara clutched her head. What did they do to me? She whispered. Sael entered quietly. He held a small cube. I brought this from the archive, he said. You might want to see it. Ilara didn't answer. He placed the cube on the table and activated it. Hologram appeared. A man in a lab coat stood before them, Dr. Kessler. He looked younger, less cruel. Project log number 54. Subject EQ017 shows extraordinary healing ability. Neural scans show she's adapting too fast. Emotion blending with command programming. We may lose control soon. The hologram glitched ... as she continues. Evolving, she no longer need our commands, she choose. And if she chooses wrong, we won't be able to stop her. It ended. Elora's eyes widened. They built me with choices. Yes, Sale said, but they feared you'd make the wrong one. Later that night, Ilara walked into the medical ward. A young alien child sat on a bed. Her skin was cracked from radiation burns. Her parents stood nearby, hopeless. Ilara didn't speak. She knelt beside the child and placed her hand on the girl's chest. The glow returned. But this time, it felt softer. No power surge. No storm. Just peace. The child opened her eyes and smiled. Her parents wept. And for a moment, Ilara smiled too. The next morning, the ship's scanner detected a strange anomaly near the border of known space. Black rift. A tear in space itself. No signals came through. No ships. No readings. Just pressure. Ilara stood beside Sale and Vecker on the deck. That's not natural, she said. No, Vecker replied. It's a door. To what? To whoever made you. Ilara stared at the rift, and deep inside her, something moved. Something ancient. Something. Awake. Ending hook. In the dark void beyond the rift, inside a hidden chamber, Dr. Kessler stood before a sealed tank. Inside it floated a second Ilara. Eyes closed. Motionless. But her heartbeat was steady. She's waking up. Kessler whispered. She was always the stronger one. And as the real Ilara stared into space, the other one opened her glowing red eyes. The stars outside the ship moved slowly, like silent watchers. Ilara stood at the viewing window, her hands pressed against the cold glass. Her reflection stared back at her golden eyes glowing faintly, lips tight with thought. She didn't feel like herself anymore. Too much had changed. She was no longer just a doctor. She had become something else. But what? A weapon? A healer? A mistake? She didn't know. Behind her, the door hissed open. Sale walked in, carrying a dark metal box. It's time, he said. For what? To visit the place they found you. Ilara turned. The lab? Sale nodded slowly. It's still out there. Damaged, abandoned. But not empty. Ilara's heartbeat quickened. This was the place where her past was buried, and maybe her truth. An hour later, Ilara, Sale, and Veker stood in the Varaxi's smaller scout ship, preparing to land on a broken station floating near a dying star. The place was massive, cold, gray, and cracked in the middle like it had been torn open. Lights blinked faintly from its core. It still breathed. Barely. Any security left inside? Ilara asked. Unknown, Veker replied. But we've detected weak power readings. Life support is barely functioning. Perfect place to hide nightmares, Sale said quietly. As the scout ship docked, Ilara stepped onto the metal floor of the lab for the first time in maybe years. Maybe lifetimes. The hallway was dark. Only emergency lights lit the path. Every step echoed like a memory. Her footsteps slowed. Something felt familiar. Her body remembered what her mind did not. Left turn, down the hall. Third door. She stopped in front of it. "I've been here before," she whispered. Vicker scanned the door. Security offline. "But there's a backup lock." Ilara stepped forward. The door reacted to her presence. It hissed open. Inside was a small chamber. Clean, silent, cold. And at the center was a chair. Wires hung from the ceiling. Old blood stained the floor. Machines blinked slowly, waiting for orders that never came. "This is where they did it," she said, voice hollow. "Where they changed me." Sale found a terminal in the corner. It powered on after some effort. The screen lit up with logs. Files marked EQ017 Neural Sync Test Pain Threshold Trials Memory Reset Cycle 9 Combat Response Data Cloning Chamber Access. Ilara stepped forward and clicked on the last one. The screen showed a room deeper in the station. Status: 1 unit. Active. She turned toward the others. "Show me." The hallway was colder now. Lights flickered as they walked. Dust floated in the air. Pipes leaked steam. The walls groaned with age. Ilara's head throbbed. Flashbacks danced in her mind. Needles, screams, bright lights. Voices calling her subject, not human. She felt like a ghost chasing her own death. They reached the cloning chamber. The doors opened slowly. Inside were rows of empty pods. Most were shattered, broken glass, dried blood. But one pod still glowed. Inside it floated. Her eyes closed, breathing slow. Skin pale. Perfect. Unchanged. Double quotes. "What is this?" she asked. Vecker looked at his scanner. "This is not a clone. Not a body double. This is a memory shell. A backup, a reset point." Sale stepped forward. "If anything went wrong with you, they could restart from this." "Is she alive?" "Yes," Vecker said, "but in sleep mode." Ilara stared at her own face behind the glass. It was strange. Unreal. Was this her real self? Or was she the copy? Her mind spiraled with questions. She backed away. "I don't want to see this anymore." They returned to the command room of the lab. Ilara sat in the central chair, staring at the logs. Then she noticed one file that made her stop breathing. Execution Order Code, Fire Seraph. She opened it. Dr. Kesser's face appeared on the screen. "If subject EQ017 ever becomes unstable, activate Fire Seraph. All memories will burn. Power will surge uncontrollably. The subject will either die or destroy everything within 10 kilometers. This is not a kill switch. This is an extinction key." Ilara's skin went cold. They didn't build her with safety. They built her with destruction. Vicker read the last part aloud. "Code hidden inside subject's neural core. Can be activated remotely or by command phrase." "What's the phrase?" she asked. Vicker looked uneasy. He showed her. The screen. 3 words. Words that chilled her to the bone. "Do no harm." She laughed bitterly. "They used my oath. My promise as a doctor." Sale clenched his fists. "They built death into your kindness." Suddenly, the entire station shook. Lights flashed red. "Warning, incoming vessel." Vecker checked the scanners. "It's human, not Earth military. Black flag private ops." Ilara's eyes narrowed. "They're here for the clone." "Or for you," Sale added. Ilara stood quickly. "Lock this place down." "No time," Vecker said. "There. Already boarding." Gunfire echoed through the station. The human strike team moved fast. Black armor, silent weapons. No hesitation. Ilara faced them at the main corridor. Her golden eyes flared. The first wave opened fire. She didn't move. The bullets bent in midair, turned into dust. She raised one hand and the floor beneath them exploded with white light. They flew backward, unconscious, but one soldier, a woman, stood her ground. Elara Quinn, the woman said. You are to come with us. No, Elara said. You are unstable. Dangerous. The galaxy is safer if you return with us. You mean if I'm locked away? The woman raised her weapon. Don't make me say it. Say what? Do. No harm. Elara froze. The words echoed in her skull. Pain exploded behind her eyes. Her hands shook. Her skin cracked with glowing lines. No. No, not now. The fire seraph code had activated. Elara screamed. Power burst from her body like fire. The walls cracked. Lights exploded. Machines melted. Viker pulled sail away. Just in time. Elara fell to her knees. She could feel it, her control slipping, her body burning inside. She turned toward the soldier and shouted, "Run!" But the soldier didn't move. She stared terrified. You're not supposed to resist the code. Elara growled through her teeth. I'm not a weapon anymore. She clenched her fists and pushed back. Inside her mind, she saw two versions of herself, one in white healer, one in black destroyer. They battled. Power clashed. Memories swirled. In the end, she made a choice. She stood up, eyes glowing pure white, and the storm stopped. The soldiers were gone. The team had retreated. The lab was silent again. Elara stood, breathing hard. Her hands no longer glowed. The fire seraph code was broken. Inside her, peace returned. Sael and Viker ran to her. You're alive, Sael. Sighed. You stopped it, Viker whispered. No, Elara replied. I chose. Ending hook. Far away, Dr. Kessler watched from a hidden ship. She rejected the code. She shouldn't have been able to, said the AI. Kessler narrowed his eyes. Then we'll wake the other one. Inside the frozen pod, the second Elara's eyes snapped open. Red, burning, hungry. The medical ship Varaxi drifted through a dead part of space, silent and wounded. Its hull was scorched. Its lights flickered weakly. Parts of it still smoked after the battle in the forgotten lab. Inside, Elara Quinn lay on a bed in the medbay. Eyes closed, breathing slow, but her mind was far from still. She saw visions, her old self before the serum. Before the lab. Then flashes of war, fire, screams, her own hands covered in blood, some caused, and always another face staring back at her. Her face, but with red eyes. Elara gasped and sat up. Sweat poured down her forehead. Sael stood beside her, calm as always. You're safe now, he said. No, she whispered. I saw her again. Who? The other me. Viker entered with a grim look. We just got a signal. You'll want to hear this. In the command room, the crew gathered around a cracked screen. Viker pressed a button. Static cleared, and a live video stream appeared. It showed a black facility deep in asteroid space. Inside, a figure stood tall. Female. Human. Eyes glowing bright red. She looked just like Elara, but colder, sharper, like a shadow given form. Message for all vessels, the copy said. I am Elara Quinn, the true one, the perfected version. The galaxy has one chance to bow or burn. The video ended. Silence filled the room. That's not me, Elara said. That's the clone. The one in the backup pod. She's active now, Sael said. And she believes she is the original. She also believes she's your replacement, Viker added. She's already attacked 2 small planets. No survivors. Elara's hands trembled. She's using my name. She's using your face, Sael said quietly. And now the galaxy will fear you. Later that day, Elara sat on the observation deck, staring into space. Her heart felt heavy. She remembered the soldier's face in the lab. Fear. Not because of the enemy. Not because of the battle, but because of her. Elara had broken the fire seraph code. She had survived what no one else could. But now, she was being hunted again. Not By her creators, not by soldiers, but by herself. Vaker joined her. We tracked the clone's location, he said. She's in orbit over a moon called Aretas, mining colony. No military, all civilians. Then we need to stop her. Sail entered behind them. She expect you. I hope so, Ilara replied. They took the Varaxi through a hidden path in space, an old trade route once used by smugglers. The journey was long and silent. No one laughed. No one slept well. They all knew what this meant. They weren't going to fight an army. They were going to fight her. 3 days later, they reached Aretas. The moon was small, rocky, covered in mining machines and small shelters. Smoke rose from the northern zone. Fires burned. Signals were silent. She's already begun, Sales said. Any survivors? Ilara asked. Some hiding underground, sending weak distress calls. Then we land now. The Varaxi dropped through the clouds, landing near the burning sector. Ilara stepped out first. She didn't wear armor. No helmet. Just a cloak and gloves to hide her glowing skin. Vaker handed her a pulse device. If anything happens, if you lose control. I won't, she said. They walked through ash-covered streets. Bodies lay in piles. Machines were sliced clean. Buildings had collapsed inward, like they were crushed by invisible hands. She's doing this on purpose, Ilara whispered. To make them afraid of me. Then take your name back. Sale said. The survivors were hiding in a deep bunker, beneath a processing tower. Ilara approached the heavy door and placed her hand on it. It responded instantly. Her energy recognized the coding. The door opened. Inside, a group of terrified miners pointed weapons at her. Don't come closer, one shouted. We've seen what you can do. I'm not her, Ilara said, raising her hands. I came to stop her. Your eyes, she took my face. But she doesn't have my heart. The oldest miner, a woman, stepped forward. Then prove it. Help the boy. They brought a child forward, barely breathing, legs crushed. Ilara knelt and touched his chest. Her glow returned. But soft this time, warm, gentle. The child opened his eyes. The survivors lowered their weapons. But then a quake. The ground shook violently. Screams echoed from outside. She's here, Vaker, said. Ilara stood slowly. I need to face her alone. The battle site was an empty plaza, surrounded by broken statues and old mining rigs. Ilara walked to the center. Then she saw her. The clone. Same face, same height, but red eyes and a cruel smile, so the clone said. They still follow the weak one. I'm not weak, Ilara replied. I chose life over control. I am control, the clone said. No doubts, no fear, just purpose. You were made from me. But you lost the most important part, Mercy. The clone stepped closer, and you lost the will to win. Then she attacked. Power exploded between them. Gold and red clashed in the air like two storms fighting for space. Ilara blocked the first wave of attacks with a shield of energy. The ground cracked beneath her. The clone fired bolts of pure force. Buildings shattered. Ilara dodged, then sent a wave of healing energy toward a burning structure. She was still saving lives even in battle. You hold back, the clone shouted. That's why you'll fail. No, Ilara said. That's why I'll win. She jumped forward, hands glowing, and struck. The clone staggered for the first time. She bled. You're not perfect, Ilara said. You're just a shadow. The clone screamed, and the sky turned red. She lifted both hands, and the mining rigs tore from the ground, flying toward Ilara. Ilara closed her eyes. She focused, not on destruction, but on life. The rigs stopped mid-air and fell harmlessly to the side. Then she moved. Fast and silent. She reached the clone and placed her hand on her chest. I forgive you, she whispered. The clone gasped. Red light cracked across her body. She stepped back. No. No, what are you doing? I'm freeing you. With one final pulse, Alara sent healing energy into the clone. But instead of healing, it dissolved her red core. The clone collapsed. Her eyes turned gold for one moment, then faded. It was over. Sky cleared. The fires died. Alara stood in the middle of the silent plaza. And for the first time, she didn't feel like a weapon. She felt whole. Back on the Varaxi, Vaker treated her burns. Sail brought water. The survivors of Aritas watched from a distance. They didn't bow. They didn't cheer. But they didn't run. That was enough that night. Alara sat alone on the deck. She looked up at the stars, not searching for answers anymore. Just peace. She whispered, "I'm still me." And the stars said nothing, but in the silence, she felt heard. Ending hook. In the deep, cold dark of space. Far beyond any map. A hidden vault opened. Inside, it stood rows of figures. Tall. Human. Shape. Sleeping. Each one with Alara's face. A voice echoed through the chamber. Begin Phase 2. Alara stood in silence. The war-torn moon of Aritas lay behind her, scorched, but saved. The clone was gone. The survivors had started rebuilding. But Alara knew it wasn't over, not even close. Back aboard the Varaxi, Vaker handed her a secure datapad. "This came through the old BlackNet frequency," he said. "Only a few systems still use that channel." Alara opened the file. Her eyes narrowed. "What is this?" "Coordinates," Sail said, stepping beside her. "A signal coming from a dead part of space. Unmarked. Off every known chart." "Who sent it?" Vaker shrugged. "It used your neural code to unlock." Alara looked up. "So, only I could read it?" "Yes. And there's one more thing." He hesitated. "The file was signed. From one of your children. Alara's." Heart skipped a beat. They followed the signal for 3 days. No star map showed the path. The space they entered was black, with no light, no comets, no satellites, nothing. The only thing they had was the signal's pulse. It came once every 20 seconds. A soft hum, like a heartbeat. At the end of the 3rd day, they found it. A large, hidden facility floating near a collapsed dwarf star. No beacons. No defenses. Just silence. But the moment that Varaxi drew close, the station opened. Doors slid apart like the place was waiting for them. Alara walked through the halls of the hidden facility with Sail and Vaker behind her. The walls were smooth black, almost grown rather than built. Lights followed her steps. No alarms. No guards. Only whispers. "It's reacting to your presence," Sail said. "Feels alive," Vaker muttered. At the center of the facility, they entered a chamber shaped like a spiral shell. And that's where she saw them, rows of tubes. Inside, each humans. Not adults. Not clones. Children. Ra stepped closer to the first tube. Child inside had her eyes. Golden. Sleeping peacefully. Another had darker skin, but the same glow. Another. Twin braids, freckles, each different, each related. "They're like you," Sail whispered. Vaker scanned one. Same base DNA. Modified, grown artificially, no age history. "They're not copies," Alara said. "They're new." Voice echoed from above. "I was hoping you'd come." Lights shifted. A platform descended. On it stood an old man, slim, calm, dressed in white. Alara knew that face. Dr. Kessler. He smiled gently. "You've done well." She clenched her fists. "You made more of me, not more of you," he said. "Children. Progress, no memories to wipe, no confusion. Just design, purpose, control." Alara stepped forward. "You turned them into weapons. They're better," he said. "Safer, programmed to obey. They'll heal soldiers, grow crops, stop war. Until needed for more." "No," Alara said, her voice sharp. "You didn't give them a choice." "They don't need choice," Kessler replied. "You're proof of that. You rejected your orders. Look what it cost us." It cost you control, she said. It gave me freedom. Kesser stepped aside. The room behind him opened, and out stepped 5 of the children, now awake. Now grown. They were teenagers, maybe 15. Maybe more. Eyes glowing, power humming. Alara felt her knees weaken. They weren't just sleeping anymore. They were activated. Do you know who I am? Alara asked them. One stepped forward. A girl with silver hair and sharp eyes. You're the prototype, she said coldly. Our mother, but outdated. I'm not your enemy. No, you're a mistake. Alara took a breath. You don't have to do this. He's using you. We chose, the girl said. He gave you nothing to choose from. The others raised their hands. Power sparked in the air. Then the silver-haired girl did something strange. She lowered her arm and whispered, Why do I feel this sadness? Alara took a chance. She stepped forward slowly. Because part of you knows this isn't right. You weren't built for war. You were built for healing. That's our core. The girl trembled, but the others didn't pause. They fired. Energy slammed into Alara. She crashed backward into the wall. Her body glowed white-hot as she absorbed the hit. Sail and Vaker drew their weapons, ready to fight. No. Alara shouted. Don't hurt them. Another wave came, but Alara raised a field, shielding the blast. Then she walked forward, burned. Gasping but steady. She looked at the silver-haired girl. Help me stop them. The girl hesitated. Then nodded. She turned on the others, knocking one down with a blast of energy. Forgive me, she whispered. Chaos broke out. One child screamed. Betrayer! Alara used healing energy, not to destroy, but to overload. Their neural implants. The room glowed like a star going nova. When the light cleared, 4 lay unconscious. The silver-haired one stood beside Alara, shaking. I couldn't save them all, she said. You saved yourself, Alara replied. Resting a hand on her shoulder. Dr. Kesser was gone. Escaped. Again. But the facility was now theirs. The rest of the children slept peacefully in their pods, not yet awakened. Sails sealed the main chamber. What now? Vecker asked. We protect them, Alara said. And when they wake, we let them choose. Later, Alara sat in a quiet room with the silver-haired girl. What's your name? She asked. I was never given one. Alara thought for a moment. Then how about Sira? The girl smiled faintly. Sira, I like that. I'll make sure you always have a choice, Sira. And for the first time, Alara didn't feel alone. She had faced herself and found family. Ending hook, on a distant planet. Inside a dark control room, Dr. Kesser stared at dozens of screens. Each showed a different clone, each still asleep. He tapped 1, then whispered, Wake the Legion. And far beneath the ground, eyes opened, dozens of them, all glowing red. The stars above the hidden facility seemed quieter. Calmer. Elara stood on a metal balcony overlooking the sleeping chamber. Rows of pods stretched beneath her, each holding a child grown in silence. They were hers, in a way, not born, not raised, but shaped from her DNA, twisted by the same hands that had turned her into something unnatural. Only this time, she would protect them, not let them become weapons. Beside her stood Sira, the silver-haired girl, who had chosen her own path. You think the others will wake up like I did? Sira asked. I don't know, Alara said. But if they do, I'll be here. And if they don't? Alara looked at the stars. Then I'll fight for their right to sleep in peace. But peace never lasted. A signal came through the station's ancient relay hidden deep beneath the central core. Vaker and Sail brought it to her, encrypted, heavily. Only Alara could unlock it. She touched the interface. The message played. Dr. Kesser's voice. This was never about you, Alara. You were the beginning, but the Legion is the future. And now they march. The screen changed. Dozens of massive ships moved across space, each marked with a simple symbol, a burning hand. From their holds, figures marched in rows, identical, each glowing red, each with her face, hundreds, thousands, the Legion. Sira gasped. They're already awake. Vaker said. They're headed for a civilian arc world, Kalen V. Population, 2 billion. They won't survive, Sale said. The Legion doesn't take prisoners. Allura's chest tightened. This is what Kesser wanted all along, she whispered. Mass destruction, with my name on it. No, Sira said, stepping forward. That's not your name. That's his monster. You're more than that. Illara nodded slowly. Then we stopped them. They couldn't stop the entire Legion with one ship, but they had something better, the truth. Illara opened an old Earth-wide broadcast channel. Risky that it would expose her location, but people needed to know the difference between her and what was coming. She stood in front of a camera, her hands trembling. Then she spoke. This is Illara Quinn. If you see someone with my face glowing red eyes, no mercy. Know this, they are not me. I was made to heal. I became more. I fought back. Now they're coming. Not to help, not to save, but to erase. Fight if you must. But remember, I am not your enemy. I am your shield. The signal went out. To all systems. To all worlds. And for the first time, the galaxy heard her voice. Not from rumors. Not from warnings, but from her. 2 days later, they reached the edge of Kalen V. The Legion had already begun landing. Whole cities were being surrounded. Their drop pods fell like burning meteors. But something was different. People were resisting. For the first time, they weren't just running from her face, they were fighting back against it. And they weren't alone. Other systems responded to the broadcast. Old rebel ships, pirates with honor, alien species once helped by Ilara's healing touch. They came, not to worship, not to kneel, but to stand beside her. In orbit, Illara stared at the battle map. Vek AR pointed to the Legion's command ship. We take that out, we buy the others. Chance, Sarah stepped forward. Let me go with you. Illara shook her head. You're too young. I'm not just your copy, Sarah said. I'm your student. And I believe in who you really are. Illara paused. Then nodded. Okay, but we stay together. They boarded a stealth pod and dropped through atmosphere. The Legion's command ship sat like a mountain on the plains, guarded by swarms of red-eyed clones. But Illara didn't sneak in. She walked through the fire, power glowing softly, each clone that charged her. She disarmed with mercy. Some paused, some stared, and just a few stepped back. Inside the ship, alarms rang. The halls were full of soldiers with her face. She moved like a whisper of light through their lines. Not killing. Disabling. Redirecting. Until finally she reached the core and found Kesser waiting. He stood beside the Legion Queen, a taller, armored version of her. Her eyes burned so hot they left trails. I gave you life, Kesser said. No, Illara replied. You gave me pain. I gave myself life. You could have been the future. I am the future. Because I choose. Sira stood beside her, glowing softly. The Queen stepped forward. You are obsolete. Maybe, Illara said. Then she smiled. But I still have one lesson left to teach. The final battle began. The Queen struck fast, brutal. Her power tore metal walls apart. Illara blocked with effort. She didn't try to overpower her. She just absorbed. Every strike, every burn. And then she passed it to Sira. The young girl surged forward, powerful, focused. Together, they fought not with rage, but with understanding. And finally, Illara reached the Queen, touched her forehead, and whispered, Peace. The glow faded. The Queen collapsed. Silent. Not dead, but no longer fighting. Kesser tried to run. Viker stopped him at the hangar. One punch. That's all it took. The battle across Kalen V turned. The Legion began to hesitate. Clones stood still. Many dropped their weapons. The war stopped not with a final bomb, but with a choice. One taught by the first. Whoever had one. Later, as the dust settled, Syrah walked beside her on the plains. "What now?" she asked. "We rebuild." "With them?" Syrah looked back at the silent clones. "Yes," Ilara said. "With all of them." Ending hook, in the farthest reaches of space. Inside a hidden chamber. One final file unlocked. A dark voice whispered, "Ilara thinks she's won, but she doesn't know the truth. She was never the first. She was number 17. The real prototype is waking up." And deep beneath the galaxy's crust, another chamber opened. Inside, a figure smiled, not with gold eyes, not red, but black. Asterisk. The galaxy had gone quiet. Too quiet. After the fall of the Legion, the systems that once feared Ilara Quinn now praised her. Her name was spoken with respect, even love. Ships she had saved now carried her banner. Not a flag, but a glowing white hand, a healer's mark. But peace was never permanent. Not in a galaxy born from war, deep beneath a forgotten world, where stars never shined and machines whispered secrets. A vault cracked open. Inside, a figure stood in shadow. She looked human. Mostly. Her skin was pale, her hair black like coal, and her eyes empty. No color, just black voids. She stretched her hands. The walls groaned in response. She didn't speak. She didn't breathe. She didn't blink. The prototype was awake. Far away, on the moon of Lenari, Ilara walked through a field of regrown grass. Children ran past her. Miners waved. Vicar and Sale stood near a medical tent, organizing new supplies. Syrah, now stronger than ever, practiced gentle energy control with a group of young clones. This was what Ilara had always dreamed of, a place to heal. Place where people didn't run from her, but her peace shattered with a single pulse through the galaxy. Every advanced ship, every AI, every military system. Crashed. No virus. No invasion. Just a presence. A signal too old for any firewall. Vecker rushed. To Ilara, face pale, "It's not the Legion." Sale added, "It's something worse. Something deeper. The signal's not from now, it's from before even you." Ilara stared at the stars. She's awake. They tracked the signal to a starless zone. Sector 0. No ship had returned from there in over 200 years. Ilara didn't hesitate. "I'm going." Sale grabbed her arm. "You don't need to do this alone. She's not like the others." Ilara said, "She was never meant to be found." Syrah stepped forward. "Then we go together." Ilara looked at her. And nodded. Their ship, the light within, entered the dark zone. No stars. No comets. Just cold silence, until they reached it. A planet of metal and bone. Black towers. Red clouds. And at its heart, a single figure stood, arms open, like she had been waiting forever. The prototype. She didn't smile. She didn't move. But Ilara felt it. Hate. And worse, understanding. They landed near the ruins of an ancient lab. Walls bent inward, as if pulled by gravity itself. Machines hovered around the prototype like insects. Ilara stepped forward. The prototype finally spoke. "You speak of peace." Her voice echoed across the sky. "But you were made in war." "I broke free," Ilara said calmly. "You resisted." The prototype tilted her head. "I remember when they made me. I was the first. They feared me, so they locked me away. You chose revenge. I was left, alone, forgotten." Ilara's voice softened. "So was I, but I forgave." The prototype's eyes narrowed. "I don't need forgiveness." Then she raised her hand, and the world shook. Towers fell from the sky. Ilara raised a shield, blocking flying debris. Syrah protected the crew, her glow brighter than ever. The prototype moved without walking. She flowed. Dark tendrils of power erupted from her, striking at Alara. But Alara didn't fight with rage. She channeled every memory, every life saved, every hand held, every scream calmed. Her power shifted. It wasn't just healing anymore. It was truth. It was will. The battle cracked the sky. Light against dark, life against void. Ela touched the prototype's mind. She saw her memories, her pain, her years alone in the vault, the screams during her testing, the moment she was deemed too strong to control and shut down like a failed machine. Alara whispered, "I'm sorry." The prototype paused. Just a second, but enough. Sira joined the link. Together, they showed her what life could be. Freedom. Choice. Kindness. The prototype screamed, and for a moment, her black eyes flickered. Color tried to return, but it wasn't enough. She roared and unleashed one final blast. Blast to erase everything. Alara didn't run. She embraced it. Held it. And for the first time in her life, she became more. She became light, white, blinding, pure. She didn't destroy the darkness. She absorbed it. She understood it. And in doing so, she ended the war. When the light faded, the prototype stood still. No longer angry. No longer empty. Just tired. She fell to her knees, looked at Elara. And whispered, "I wanted to be more." "You are now," Alara said. Then, the prototype vanished into light. Gone. Not dead. Free. Back on Lanari. Alara stood beneath a new sky. Peace had returned. But this time, it felt earned. Sira walked beside her. "What now?" "We teach," Alara said. "We guide. We let them become." "And you?" "I finally know who I am." She looked at her hands. No glow. Just warm skin. "I'm Alara Quinn." "Doctor, leader," she smiled. "Mother." Final hook, epilogue. In a quiet cave on a green world, a small child sat on a rock. She had no memories. No name. Just a strange mark on her palm, a glowing white hand. A stranger approached, handing her food. "Who are you?" the child asked. The stranger smiled. "Someone who was saved." And above them, in the stars, the legend of Alara Quinn spread, not as a weapon, not as a ghost, but as the one who chose healing. And still one, asterisk,